I'm back. Okay. This is part two to the first one. I'm just talking about like gay rights, PC, and all that kind of stuff. So I want to get back into that. Um, I was explaining in the at the end of my last video that for me, it's hard for me to uh understand and agree to a group. You know how everyone's like you got to choose a side. I've had situations where I've had two people that I got along with fight each other. I didn't choose a side. I was just like, like, first and foremost, you cannot force me to choose a side. That's fucked up. And then second of all, why am I going to choose both negative sides? Because me growing up, I was bullied by not just straight people. Not just straight people. A lot of the bullies that were bullying me were also black people. And I've explained that in other videos. So just think on how that put a lot of, self-hatred and doubt in my head about my own color and my own people. That's first. Second, me coming out at a young age and me trying to experience what it is even like to be a gay person, I had the worst experience ever. I had to learn on my own. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what the terms were. I didn't know anything. I was completely oblivious to anything that was going on. The first term I ever heard of anything gay was bisexual, and that was because I was in middle school with the girl who actually was. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew it meant both genders because that's what she explained to me. So I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." Because as I was growing up, I was slowly into God, but I didn't really grasp it. And then when I was 14, that's when I finally came out. Now, I wasn't just bullied by my straight black peers. I was bullied more of my gay peers also, because I didn't fit the norm of what a gay person would be, I guess. I guess I wasn't feminine enough. I didn't know how to dress. I guess I wasn't masculine, because it seems like masculinity in the gay community is like a golden fucking ticket. I've learned from people, because it's just like they think this dude look fine, but they're like, oh, he's masculine though. It was like, oh, okay, well, I guess it'll fit, because a gay man has to be, a feminine gay man has to be with a masculine one. So we're basically taking what straight people are doing and choosing roles. It's no different, and straight people must understand that we choose roles too. Same thing with lesbians; they choose roles. That's just how it is. Oh, okay, we don't know why, but that's exactly how it is. It's exactly how it is. And I'll never understand that, but that's exactly how it is. People choose roles. It's just normal, and it makes things easier. It just makes things easier. I can understand if they're both feminine or they're both butch. I get it. It's understandable, like, because we could one of them is more sensitive than the other. It doesn't matter what it is. One is always going to be more of the dominant, and the other one's going to be, if they're both sensitive, I don't know, it could work, but I just know there are roles, and that's just how it is. But back to what I was saying, and then me coming out, being gay and trying to understand the gay culture of anything was very, very difficult, because I had to learn on my own. So I had to go to like certain different events and stuff that had gay people, because I only knew a few gay people ever, and I never really hung out with many people. I found out later that actually there were a few people that I knew and hung out with that actually were gay, and I would have never guessed that they were gay. So there was a lot of stuff like that. So some of them I actually knew, but it didn't shock me. Some of them shocked me. Some of them didn't shock me, because I was like, oh, okay, I knew before I knew about my damn self. I was sensitive, but I don't think I was that sensitive to whereas because people still get confused now. People don't know if I'm gay or not, or people think I am, or people don't know if I am. So I get both spectrums sometimes. But I grew up being young, so it was different for me. I grew up different, so it was just like I didn't fit in with the gay crowd, because I was still a nerd. I still liked what I like. I still like my anime. I still like my comic books. I still like my action figures. I still like Magic the Gathering. I still like Dungeons and Dragons, and I loved metal and punk rock and all that kind of stuff. So me hanging out with a lot of gay people, it was a little different, because I basically had to conform to them. And that's kind of what it was. But see, I was always a different kid. See, back then I didn't fit in with nobody. But the problem on how I was able to fit in was I did something different that a lot of people didn't really. I think they did, but not as much. Me, I always loved music. I always had my CDs with me. I had my backpack and I had my CD player. I always had music with me all the time. So whenever I did like a party or something like that, 9 to the 10 they would call me. 9 to the 10 I would get invited because I always had my CDs. I always had like some of the new music. I had some of the. I always kept up with music. Always. Like I would burn CDs. I would pay somebody to burn my CDs for me, a certain shit. I kept up. Whatever I heard, whatever I find, I kept up with it. I'd write it on my list. I would come up with like a 18 song list for somebody to burn a CD of. Here you go. All the time. All the time. I knew people who made money doing that. I was able to. I did that a few times, but I didn't keep up with it like I should have. You know, because I probably could have made a lot. I could have probably did awesome if I kept up with that, you know, and I wasn't able to do that. But I always kept up with the new music. I still do that now. Like, I keep up with a lot of the new shit. I try to keep up with as much stuff. I try to go to, like, livemixtapes.com. I go to Hip Hop Early just to, like, find songs that you never find. It's been a few months since I've been on Hip Hop Early, and that's where I find a lot of shit that don't get released. That's dope as fuck that I feel like would, like, put somebody on the map. It's just there's so much music that goes through. It's so hard for me to sit and go through it all. Sorry, I just went into like a music tip, but it has a lot to do with what I'm talking about. Because music is something that saved my life. Music was something that really, really like kept me sane through a lot of shit. And just being gay and dealing with that and being not part of what they are and just not being accepted by my own gay people hurt me even more. So you can understand how I didn't fit in with anybody. It was hard for me to fit in with anybody. I couldn't fit in with anybody. I was always a different kid. I could never fit in either group. And it just made me even worse. And then the reason, and that's why a lot of them were black. So, and see, that makes it even worse for me because the more and more I experienced, the more and more I hated my own skin, that I hated black people, that all I hung out with were white people, that's all I dated was white, and I still date mainly white guys now, and that's really sad, because it's not like I never wanted to date somebody black. I have multiple times, but I've only gotten two spectrums. I either got the really, really super, super, super feminine one, and I'm not into feminine dudes at all, like I'm a nigga, and I may have my gay moments, but I'm a nigga, period. I'm a man. I still fart, I still burp, I could sit here and watch sports. I could sit here and throw down with the rest of them and put the gloves on, nigga, let's go. Like, I can play football. I can do that kind of stuff because I'm more comfortable in my body and I don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no problem with that. And I lost some decent weight. So I have the energy to be able to do shit I never used to do back in the day. You know, and then, you know, me, and it's just like, so it's just like, I've either had the feminine one or the DL guys. I've never found, like, a black guy who was into anime, Magic, The Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, metal. It's really hard to find any black person that was ever into that kind of stuff, but also interested in me as much as I'm interested in them. Because every relationship that I've ever had, every guy has basically fell in love with me before I could actually fall in love with them. So I never had though, because I've always seen like the negative and stuff of like relationships, marriages. So what I did was I kind of just been single, and I told myself I will never be in a relationship unless I know it's going to last. And I took that chance, and it didn't. It lasted 4 or 5 years, and then that one failed. Then like I had a few that were like 2 months. I really don't count them. I mean, even though I gave a fuck about him, but I didn't, you know, it like more than I wanted to, but I couldn't consider that a relationship. And then I was with somebody else. We were dating for a year, and then we were together for 6 months, and then we broke up because it was just a lot of stuff he was doing that really turned me off. And I think logically in a lot of stuff, I think everyone has that, oh, that giddy hat honeymoon stage, but actually getting past that. And I think the difference with me was that I was a lot more happier when I was with my first relationship, and it made me, and I was able to be happy. And I think because my older brother was alive, my mom was still alive, so it was all good. And then, you know, now shit goes on and I'm kind of alone. All I have will be me and my partner. I don't have any friends because I don't trust anybody. It's really hard, but I'll explain that in another video. But yeah, I just wanted to explain, like, there are gay people out there like me who have been bullied by their own people, who have been treated like garbage because we don't look the same. We don't like the same things that other gay people do. You know, like that type of thing, like racism, rape, physical and emotional abuse happen in the gay community. People don't talk about that. People don't listen to that because people don't care. And the gay and I really want to let straight people know, like, this is actually what goes on in the gay community. People don't understand that, but this is exactly what happens in the gay community, and it never fails, and it's sad. And I want to talk more about that. So I'm gonna do this survey here, and this is the end of part 2. And I'll probably end up making another one here, and I'm gonna talk about my relationships. Yeah. No. Fuck. Okay. Thank you guys. Mo-nan out.